Welcome to Ag on Wheels. Where do you think I am? You probably know, I'm in California. But today, we're gonna visit Harris Enterprises, where this man has built an almond empire. They even call him the Almond Man. So stay tuned. So we all love to see the almond trees and the almond bloom, but I don't think anyone really pays attention to where it really starts. And so today I'm here with CONRAD, and he's gonna tell us all about it. CONRAD, tell us where it starts.
It starts here. We start growing our peach almond hybrids, and we plant them in the ground. We used to plant these by hand, so just to give you an idea, it would take me about 60-man crew to plant about 120, 130,000 a day.
Wow.
Then
I bet you that was expensive.
Very expensive. And so once we decided, okay, this is the future, then I looked into a machine, which you will see the machine planting.
Okay.
The main reason that I wouldn't go to the machine to save any money on the labor. I would only go to the machine if it's better for the plant. The plant comes first. So, and one of the things that we figured out with the plant is that the plant actually does better because the machine is planted is more uniform, where labor, not everybody does the same job. So we have more consistent planting here with this. Instead of a 60-man crew, you can see I have basically a 7-man crew on each machine. The two machines can plant a little over 200,000 plants a day.
Okay, CONRAD, so I've never heard of a peach almond hybrid ever. What is the benefit of growing one of those?
The peach almond hybrids today, they're more drought tolerant.
Okay.
They're more salt tolerant. They're better anchored. They also last longer because of all these things. So it's just a better all-around rootstock. They don't all belong in the same type of soils, but if you place the right rootstock in the right soil, you'll have a beautiful orchard and very productive.
So it's a little more complex than just getting that rootstock and sticking it in the ground. There's
quite a bit that goes to it. It sounds real easy, but it isn't. But it's an art. You can do it all your life, and that's what we do. You know, we've been very good at it, and I've done this all my life since I was 13, so been there, done that.
So for an average Joe like me who doesn't know anything about almonds, basically, driving down the road, they all look the same, but they're not the same. So for you guys at home who are watching, not all almonds are the same, just like no person is the same. All right, so we've seen the almond plants being planted, but what happens after the crop is done? And so I'm standing here with JAIME CRUZ. JAIME, where am I? Because this looks massive. Where am I?
It is massive. This is the biggest huller and sheller, square footage wise, in the world.
Wow.
Yep.
So basically, once the almonds are ready to be harvested, they come here.
Yep.
What happens here? What is all this machinery, and how many almonds do y'all process a day?
It varies, but we're capable of running 1 million pounds in a 24-hour period.
1 million pounds
Yep.
in 24 hours. That's
Yep.
insane. So explain the process to me a little bit.
All right, so the truck comes in,
Okay.
goes on a scale. It gets decided if it's going to go to the stockpile yard or to the huller.
Okay.
Say it does come to the huller, goes to a pre-cleaner. We remove the sticks, the dirt, we bring it inside the plant.
Wow, okay. And so once you were telling me earlier off camera that there's a hole, right? And then the meat is what is inside.
Yes.
Y'all separate the two. What happens to each of those? So what happens to the hole and what happens to the meat?
All right, so on the hulling side, we try to get rid of the holes,
Okay.
try to separate it from the shell. Our job is to separate those three things, the holes, shell, and give the best quality almond to the grower. That's what we're known for, the best quality.
That's great to know. All right, so we've seen the almond plants being planted at the nursery. Then we've gone to the hulling and seeing exactly what happens there. And now I find myself with Mike in a very large warehouse. Tell me where I am and what's happening.
So this is the Almond company. This is where we receive the almonds from the huller.
Okay.
So huller cracks out the almonds, brings them here. We received 132 million pounds this year, which will probably make us the 3rd or 4th largest packer in the state. So we receive almonds from about 250 growers throughout the valley. We collect them here, we fumigate them to kind of make sure that the bugs are all kind of already taken care of. We then clean them up, and then we sort them and grade them according to variety, grades, and sizes. And then we build up an inventory here, and then we start marketing them throughout the world. And that's basically what my job is to sell the almonds.
Okay.
So then we will basically be packing and shipping almonds 12 months out of the year.
12 months out of the year. So what months would you say are like almonds constantly being brought here to the warehouse, or is it only a certain amount of time?
Right, so it's that August through middle of February
Okay.
period. That's where we pretty much receive everything for the crop year. And then after that, it's all about just, getting it cleaned up to be able to sell, and then pack it and ship it.
And so typically when the season first begins and y'all start receiving your almonds, I'm assuming it's a little more aggressive. You get more almonds, everyone's really busy, and then it tends to slope down.
Ease off quite a bit, yeah, it does.
So we've already seen the planting of the almond trees, we've seen the hulling, we've seen the processing, but now we're here with Mr. Russell Harris, the backbone of it all. This is where it all started. Russell, tell us a little history about yourself.
Well, there's a lot of history,
Okay.
I got more runway behind me than I do in front of me. So we started as a small town family, came from the south. We lived in a little town called Joaquina until I was 10 years old. My father went through some trouble at that time, farming cotton and wheat like a lot of farmers did back in the 70s. So my father said, if you farm cotton long enough, it'll break you. So eventually we were fortunate enough to make enough money to start planting some almond trees. When I was about 10 years old, we moved to Chowchilla, and so we started planting almond trees there, and we were actually very fortunate to be in the business again because I was in Merced when it was at a baby stage. Now almonds are 3 billion pounds, and I got into it when I was only 300 million pounds out of high school. So out of college, sorry.
Talk about the right place at the right time.
Yeah, you gotta be, I'd rather be lucky than good, people.
So people call you, or you call yourself, the Almond Man. Tell me why. Tell me, what keeps you going every day, and why are you called the Almond Man?
Okay, well, I'm called the Almond Man because we went to a party back in Nashville. We were fortunate enough to meet Keith Urban, Steven Tyler, Reba McEntire, and so I figured, if I just said my name was Russell Harris, people they forget that. But when you say something kind of crazy like I'm the Almond Man, what? And so that's how it was started. And then the long story short about that, I was in Las Vegas 2 years after I met some people, introduced myself as the Almond Man. I'm in Cartier at the Wynn Hotel. This guy goes, "Hey, are you the Almond Man?" Yes, it worked. See, honey, it worked. So that's how the Almond Man was born. What I like doing is getting up, working hard. This is what we do here is not really work for us. I'm very passionate about what we're doing. I had a great father who was a good teacher, and I've surrounded myself with great people. And
I would say too, through everything that I've seen listen to you talk rather, is that you're very innovative. And you have a very innovative team, and you're constantly growing.
Well, there's only 6,000 almond growers when I got it, Michelle, so the competition wasn't that hard. I just need to be better than 5,095.
He's all numbers and a marketer, let me tell you.
No, we were blessed. And the almonds actually in the 90s took off as a big health craze. And 80% of the world's almonds are grown in California. Yeah. So we're very fortunate. I don't compete against China, Australia a little bit, and also Spain, but we got lucky. I was in the right industry, and I got surrounded myself with the right people.
Do you have any succession plans for the future?
Yeah, I do. We have a lot of young people working here. I have a son-in-law and a son, and my daughter-in-law and my daughter, my grandsons. They're all coming up in farming, and I hope that we're strong enough as a family that at least this can go on for at least 2 more generations, and I would call that great success, because very few family farms last past 150 years. And if I could do that, I'd be very happy. And that's my goal now.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode and learned a little bit about where those almonds start out. In the ground, to the trees, to the processing, to your hand, to your mouth. Thanks to Harris Enterprises for showing us around. Where will I be next? Only God knows. See you next time. God bless y'all.